We're on the what I like to call the Loubiere, Bellevue-Chopin, Pishney, Granby Road, as the first phase of the project. Eventually we will get to Bacatel. The cost was much higher than the resources that we had from the United Kingdom government. Plus we had to borrow an additional sum from the Caribbean Development Bank to ensure that bridges like Mitcham were part of the project. I think so far we're very satisfied. I think the engineering and of course the contractor and the supervising firm are doing a pretty good job under the circumstances. It is not an easy terrain to work with. The bridges that have been constructed, there are challenges with the river flow and the natural flow of the river. One has to employ a lot of engineering methods and practices there. So, but I think at the end of the day, we will have a much improved communication network from Roseau to Granby and of course to Bacatel. We can see the extent of the work, the extent of the concrete and steel. I mean, just this platform here, as you can see, I mean, we could do a number of feeder roads with the concrete that's in there. We could cast a number of foundations for homes with this concrete. But that's the reality of the Dominican terrain, as I've said many times. We love the fresh water. We can drink water from every river in Dominica, every stream in Dominica. But that also pose a challenge in terms of infrastructural development. Additional costs. So in some countries you may pay $2 million per kilometer. In Dominica is about $6 million. And of course when you look at the bridges, the span, the extent of these bridges, to ensure that we build resilience and we can mitigate against the impact of climate change and so forth. So we find a situation where we're spending 45% more than you would have spent otherwise. But these are investments that are necessary because we're building a resilient nation. We want to ensure that when people are crossing Pishley and Mitcham and the Snock Corner, that they're traversing on very solid bridges. And so the engineering has been very circumspect with the designs and of course the implementation. At the end of the day, the beneficiaries are the one we're doing this for. The residents of Granby, Bacatel, Font Saint-Jean, Pishley, Bellevue-Chopin and the rest of Dominica. And what you're going to find is that automatically it's going to increase the quality of life for the people. The value of their properties is going to enhance business because it's easier for me to get to Granby from Roseau now. Easier to get to Bacatel from Roseau. I don't have to worry about the river washing my vehicle or blocking the road. And so this is what we're doing. If you were on an island flat, no rivers, no waterways, we could spend half the money and spend the other half on building homes, or spend the other half on small business support, or spend the other half on improving feeder roads that need access and so on, or even putting the money in the aid bank at 1 and 2% for the private sector to borrow to enhance the economic opportunity. But you have to do the road. You must do the road, and you cannot do it half-heartedly. You cannot do it in a compromising way that by the time you turn your back, the investment has gone away. We thank the government of the United Kingdom. They have been very helpful to us. They're doing this project, the bulk of it, in terms of the financing. And of course, they're doing the water project. Some water project is about £25 million. This road, they had committed £25 million as well. So the UK government gave us some £50 million for various interventions to build resilience in the water systems. And at some point, we'll visit the project in Calabishi and elsewhere, where those funds are being spent to enhance water security and of course overall access to clean potable water for so many parts of Dominica. But we have also implemented some engineering in the water system so that it can mitigate against the impact of weather systems, and the same thing being done here. And so it took us a long time because there's so many iterations, so many different designs, because we went to tender for once, and the bids came back twice the amount of money that we had. We had to now do it in packages, as they call it, or phases. And then that also came back higher. We went back, and then we had to negotiate with two of the contractors. Some of them maybe they joined forces together, so there's some collaboration between the two contractors. One being, well, both of them locally registered in Dominica, and so forth. But the extent of employment on this, all of the cement purchased locally, the aggregate and sand come from Dominica. The majority of workers there are from Dominica. I believe that, by speaking to the contractor, he's looking for more men and women to employ because they have a tight schedule for completion. And so they're running against time. And so we look forward to that. In the process of running against time, they're making sure that they do not compromise on the integrity of the structures. Of course, I want to thank the CDB because the funds were deposited under the direction and control of the CDB. And the CDB was extremely helpful to us, even today. Extremely facilitating, very responsive, very sympathetic, very concerning. We want to thank them for that. I also want to thank the road users, the bus drivers in particular. I know they're complaining about the back road in Pishle, the steepness of the hill, the wear and tear on your vehicles, but that's the short-term inconvenience of long-term solutions. So once this road is completed, then the wear and tear on your buses would be less, maintenance would be dramatically lower, a tire will last you longer, your brakes will last you longer, and therefore your oil and engine will be in better shape going forward and so on. So that's very fast. We'll meet with you again. I know there was an initial meeting, but we'll meet with you again to discuss some of the recommendations that you have as to how you believe that we can mitigate against the impact on it. So I want to thank them for their cooperation. I know they have genuine concerns, but so far they've been very respectful and understanding, and so we're very grateful for that.
We understand again the weather is a challenge. We've seen the slide between Bellevue and Pishle. That has had its impact and slowing down of works. We know it's not an easy place to work, so we understand and we appreciate the work that the contractors are doing so far. Mr. Furzag has been very, very helpful, very supportive, and also assisting small community projects as we are doing work now on Mopo and Makator Road. We're happy for the free tariffs that we can get. We hope that continues. But we're getting direct support from the contractors that we hope will continue, and we can help the communities as we build a safer, more resilient road. We have to thank the government of the UK, and I remember last year, 2 years ago, when the UK had pulled back on foreign aid, and they decided they were reducing foreign aid, and with the intervention of the Prime Minister and the opportunities I had myself in London to meet with the Foreign Office, we continue to make the plea so that they could continue funding this road, and we're happy today that we are seeing their grants coming into reality to provide a safer, more resilient road for the people of the South, Grand Bay especially, Bagatelle and Fort Seja, because it has been a major concern for us. And we remember after Tropical Storm Erica and Hurricane Maria that we were totally cut off. All the money is being spent here. The additional sums to building resilience is to ensure that, God forbid, we get hit again by a major hurricane, we will have safe passage and connection to the rest of Dominica so that all people can be safe and secure if, God forbid, something were to happen. So we're very happy for the work that is being done. We're grateful for the employment that it has generated for people in the communities. The inflow of funds in the community, it really touches everybody in a different way, and we're very happy for that, and we hope to see the successful completion of this project so that we can finally ensure that Meacham coming down doesn't create a problem for us in Grand Bay.
The project, spans three constituencies, as a matter of fact, Loubiere, Petite Savanne, and Grand Bay. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we may be, Cecil, you know very well the boundaries along the borderline of the Petite Savane and Grand Bay constituencies. And so it's a collaborative benefit for all of the residents from all of these three constituencies. All of us have suffered from the blockage of Mitcham from time to time, and myself on many occasions, and all of the bridges that are being built. You would have heard of the employment opportunity. There are many young people I personally have advocated for, and the contractors have been very receptive. But what I want to really praise the project for is there are a lot of side benefits, the community responsibility that the project is working on. And Honorable Henderson said that all of our 3 councils from Bellevue, Grand Bay, Petite Savane, even Pichley, 4 councils have access to material such as tarish. And from time to time, if we require some additional help, they are always willing to assist. But overall, the project, as the Prime Minister has mentioned, it has tremendous benefit. You have given them an A, so I cannot go lower than the Prime Minister. Many times that I pass, I try to understand the project myself, what is happening, you know, the different types of intervention, but we are not engineers, we are laymen. So hopefully we are waiting, and a lot of these works are perhaps more than 50% complete. We'll have a better idea of what is happening. So, I mean, in these few words, I want to say I thank also the people, the constituents, the vehicle drivers, and I speak to them every time. You know, we complain, but we understand. And please continue to have patience, exercise diligence, especially in the Shotwell Road. Be considerate for other vehicles, and you know, reduce the speed, and so that we can have 0 to no incidents and fatalities by the end of this project.
Today we are visiting the Loubiere, well, what we call the Grand Bay Road. And this road costs in excess of 117 million. And we must express our thanks to the UK government, the government of Dominica, of course, for this intervention. But what we have seen over the last 8 years following Maria is the building of resilience in our roads. So what you find is that over the last 8 years, we have invested just about $500 million in our road network. And this investment will continue in the coming months. We'll be meeting with a team from the Chinese government, and we will be doing an intervention on the North Coast Road. That road is going to cost us, on paper it says 400 million, but we believe that this will cost us in excess of that. Also, we'll be doing the resurfacing from Pottersville to Auto Trade. We are also doing the interventions from Focassé to the Emerald Pool. So there are a number of interventions which this government will be doing in the coming months in terms of improving our road network and building resilience. And this is important for a country where we have been faced with many natural disasters. So I would like to assure the public, especially the people of Grand Bay and Pichley, that we appreciate them, we thank them for their tolerance. We have met and continue to meet with the road users, and we hope to see that this project comes to finishing in the very near future.
We have had basically 0 fatalities, 0 incident in terms of work-related, directly work-related on this project. So we are very happy that we have been able to keep it safe. And we are able to execute the work in a time, you know, the time would also be a major factor for us, but we are up to the challenge. At present, we have more Dominicans employed collectively. But we do have quite a mix of skill set, actually. So the majority of, for instance, our operators would be from outside, or the skilled personnel, surveyors, and we have them from outside. But generally, we have a very good mix, I would want to say. In this project, generally, we have the 3 main players, well, 4 main players. We have the public stakeholders, the consultant, which we call the project supervisors, that's Mott McDonald. They're also the project designers, and also our clients, the government of Dominica, the employer. We have been having a very good relationship with the parties of this contract. We note, for instance, the challenges we have with land ownership. So we've been able to overcome that with the great cooperation from the public and the private landowners. As noted also from the users, especially the traffic. So we've had to do a lot of rerouting and traffic management on this project. So we have been very good cooperative from the public in terms of abiding generally with the traffic management that we put in place. We have had very good cooperation with utilities, generally speaking. We had to move poles with Domlec, Flow, GGCell, and we're still work in progress. With DOASCO, given that the network is underground, it's a little more challenging than you would have above ground. But we have worked with them. We have had to stagger some of the interventions so that we could minimize the inconvenience to the users of DOASCO. So we would get less and less interruption as the project goes along.